Good evening.
Good evening.
So we are going to call on meeting to order. It is 5:02. What's it, April? What's today?
Seventh.
Eighth, seventh? Yeah, Monday, April 8th. Okay. So what do we got here? Bill's gonna pass around?
Sorry,
Uh-huh.
I'm slacking.
See, you were too busy giving me my instructions and you didn't pass the bills around. There you go.
I don't know what to do.
Okay, we have a new format tonight. We have to speak clearly and into the microphone.
Alrighty then.
There you go. While that's going on, why don't we look over these minutes? I think the older I get, if I want to have to read them over twice. Has anybody reached out to Mr. N?
Notices were sent, right? You did email? Yeah.
Do not call.
He was at the last meeting, as I
Mhm.
saw.
Yes, it
Oh,
was.
okay.
He frequents his computers. I would find it hard to believe that he does not check his email.
I know, I agree with you. I agree. It's not like Bill over here. We gotta send out a carrier pigeon.
Smoke signals. I think I just saw.
Are you serious?
No, the carrier pigeon just flew by.
Oh, I thought he said he saw Bill, Dennis drive by.
Did.
Oh.
Fly.
Flat, yeah.
Jenny, coming down to the wire with us.
I am.
You know how I hate change. I've done everything I can to convince you to stay.
Well, and I appreciate it. I'm very flattered. Thank you.
Well, she's
Change
going
is
to
the
be-
ever constant.
I think the older you get, the less you
New
like it.
blood.
I don't know. Well,
I'm just so appreciative that you're willing to continue on with Health
Kathy
Kingston.
Kingston.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is such a
thank you.
huge,
Huge.
Oh,
huge.
thank you. No, I do. I really, I truly
You
enjoy
do
it.
such a nice job.
Well, I
with it.
just
Thank
don't
you.
think it would be the same
No.
without, it just,
You've got it down to such a
yeah.
great program and really, thank you.
You're welcome, we mean
Well, it
it.
was your
Thank
baby.
you.
You wanted to do it.
It all started back
There
in
he
high
comes.
school when I wanted to be a news reporter.
I will.
And my mother said you can be a nurse, a secretary.
Good evening, Dennis.
Oh,
Yeah. Fortunately, you're.
I guess that
generation
part.
ago.
So
Okay, then.
And Heidi, we have that.
those are the bills and we were looking at the minutes.
I'm good. I put pants on for the meeting.
Have you read the
No,
minutes?
I have read them.
Just in case this is blowing on you.
Hello,
Hey, Liza.
hello, how are you? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented for March 4th.
Second,
Okay. Does anybody have any comments? Discussion at all? All in favor?
aye,
That's unanimous, Laurie.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so. Let's see what we got. Joyce, health agents report. How's things going?
Good. We have a number of issues, as you can see. A lot of pending septic. I've had some perk tests. I did get the tag on the Kingston Facebook about the point, or Alexian, whatever we're calling it, this. Just to let you guys know, I have driven by twice now. Anytime I'm up in that area, I drive around the building. And the problem is once it gets tagged and out there on social media, if I go back, literally the next day, everything's cleaned up. There is not one stitch of anything.
So the reason I did tag our department on it was because I want people to know where to go.
Right,
Like Facebook's not, if you have a
It's not the
complaint about
appropriate
something
area.
like this, you need to be calling the department and leaving a message so they can be addressed appropriately.
I
Not just a
100
rant on Facebook.
yeah, because it's doing no good, because I am not allowed to cite based on your pictures, because it could be anything.
Yeah.
I have to see it. And so I have made twice now I've gone up there and there's not one lick of anything. I mean, driven around the dumpsters, around all of the apartment to make sure that's like not on people's back porches. And there has been absolutely nothing. So just wanted to let people know that. Also, really isn't much on the report other than the standard what's been happening. Apparently Heidi wasn't aware, but just for everybody's reference, I've been appointed to the Mosquito Control Commission for Plymouth County, so I will be active in that, which I'm guessing is good for the town because we obviously have issues with mosquitoes.
We are a very moist town.
Yes, we are very moist town. We have a lot of bodies of water, so my first meeting will be the 18th of April. I wasn't able to go to the last one, but I did have Lori go for me. They put on a thing for boards of health. I was actually at a tick and mosquito training through MHOA with the state entomologist, which was pretty interesting and informative. Yeah, it was, I'm really glad I went. So be that as it may, if anything develops, I'll make sure to let everybody know. I will contact them to ask, when we can start spraying, if we're already starting to see mosquitoes, which you reported.
Yes,
So,
we were seen today.
Yeah,
More
so-
than one.
yeah. Well, it's warm, so they're gonna come out, but that's pretty much all I have on my report.
Are you gonna weigh in on some of these others?
Yes, I didn't
Okay.
think you wanted me to go into
No, I
all that,
didn't.
right?
I didn't, I'm just.
I would ask that we do get to the hawker peddler issue out of order, only because Liza's been kind enough to come here from
I
the
was
farmer's
about to
market.
ask who this young lady is. So I'll tell you what, why don't you come out? Because.
Sure. Up here.
Just have a
Yeah.
seat at the table.
Why don't you join
Great.
us and let us know who you are? and
Sure,
where you-
I'm-
How's that?
That's great. I'm Elizabeth Marshall. I'm here on behalf of the Kingston Farmers Market. I'm a member of the board of that market and have been since its inception in 2018. And we're here looking for some clarification on the hawkers and peddlers. Joyce and I had a conversation about it. We're an all volunteer market, so no one gets paid at our market. This is our hobby. And as my husband points out, it does not appear to be a particularly pleasant hobby at times, but we're often fielding complaints, right? So this kind of came to the front of our mind because the original application for the town permit didn't require hawkers and peddlers. And then at some point it changed to be a requirement. Vendors reached out to us, we reached out to Joyce, and we were kind of having a conversation about the statutory requirement. So we took a look at what's required and it appeared, at least to my reading, to be a permit required for individuals who sell, not for businesses. Our vendors it made us question the applicability of the statute to our vendors. So our vendors are incorporated, they collect state taxes. They all have proof of insurance. You have to have $1 million liability policy to participate in our market. Our market itself is insured as well. Our vendors are licensed by the town and state. Some of them are licensed as wholesalers, which raised additional questions about how can they be hawkers and peddlers if they're also wholesalers. And the statute itself kind of contemplates this transient sale. So either setting up on a street corner and peddling your wares, as it were, kind of popping up in a place, or going door to door selling items. And that's kind of very different business model from our vendors who are pretty active. They are, traveling from town to town, which is true. They're transient in that sense, but they're known and they're participating, some of them almost daily, in farmers markets across the Commonwealth. The statute defines hawkers and peddlers as a person, either principal or agent, who goes from town to town or from place to place in the same town, selling or bartering or carrying for sale or barter or exposing thereof any goods, wares, merchandise. So we started looking at kind of different municipalities, and we found that some municipalities have local ordinances that do require hawkers and peddlers permits. But again, it looked to us like it was very specific. So if there's a Brockton ordinance, I brought a copy of it, that prohibits hawkers and peddlers from remaining stationary or in the same 200-foot radius for more than 10 minutes. So like kind of keep it moving sort of sale. And then Amherst has an ordinance as well that says if sales are not being conducted from a tent, booth, building, or other kind of fixed structure, that type of licensing is required. And that kind of informed our position that, our vendors are very different. They're the first Sunday of every month. They have a 10 by 10 tent. They're at our market. And even when they're not at our market, if you were to experience a problem as a consumer, you know that you can contact the farmers market. We're very active on social media, which I understand isn't an appropriate way to kind of voice your complaints about the Board of Health, or particular dwellings in town. But it is a convenient way to get in touch with us. And like I said, we're licensed, we're insured. We carry insurance and our vendors do as well. And so that was kind of our concern. We did a little bit of canvassing, and that we're active in the Mass Farmers Market Association. We did a little bit of canvassing, trying to figure out, what municipalities require this for their farmers market vendors specifically. And I made a list. I think it was like Hingham. There were a number of municipalities that do not require, including Plymouth, Hingham, Belmont, Swampscott, Waltham, Westfield, and Watertown. Framingham requires hawkers and peddlers for all ice cream trucks, except when they're at the farmer's market, which again, I think kind of relates to, it is a transient, ice cream trucks are transient, right? But when they're parked at the farmer's market, they don't need this type of permit. So, I think we've tried to be very, very flexible, and we think we've had a great relationship with the town, and we want to work with Joyce and with the Board of Health and the town generally, because we appreciate that we've been granted the use of a very special place to have a farmer's market in a truly beautiful location at Grays Beach. So we want to just make things easier for everyone and kind of smooth the process. So we were just trying to kind of get our arms around, what the procedure will be, what's required. The last part I'll tell you is that the hawkers and peddlers permit is a $62 permit. It appears to be, again, individual based, because it's through the chief of police of a particular municipality, who then runs a query check on the person. Again, looking at some municipal ordinances, they're required to wear like a badge with their photograph on it. So when they go door to door, that you're opening your door and not seeing some kind of fly-by-night vendor. But we've heard from our vendors that it would be a particular financial hardship, again, where they're market to market. And in some cases, it would make it just prohibitive for them to operate at all. So that's where we are.
So let me just ask you.
Sure.
Do any of your vendors, as you keep referring to them, sell anything other than food products?
Yes. So, and I'll say too, this is separate and apart from like Board of Health licensing for food products.
I'm
And
just curious.
yeah, the serve safe
and trying to get the whole picture.
and all of that. Yes,
So they do.
they do.
You have an example?
Sure. So we have artisans who sell, there's a Rocky Nook Woodworking who is local to Rocky Nook, and she does kind of resin wood. We have candle vendors. We have vendors, I guess,
Soap.
We have
soap.
we have
lotion.
soap
Soap,
vendors,
lotion.
baby clothes,
Yeah.
particular items and
The candy craft.
yes, local
Okay.
artisans.
How often do you have this event?
With the first Sunday of every month, May to October,
Where?
at Grays Beach.
Okay, then I've seen.
You will.
Okay, and what is it you need from us specifically?
So we were just looking for guidance,
Oh, excuse me, back up to
Sure.
one thing.
Sure.
You mentioned something about going to the door to door. What's that?
Yes.
What was that?
So hawkers and peddlers, I think, contemplate like two kinds of sales, door to door vending, and also like kind of the guys outside of Fenway, who have their cart of wares and they kind of pop up on street corners normally.
These
more.
vendors go door to
No.
door.
No, so our vendors are, they don't go door to door as part of our
So
market. They're in
This
a
is just
fixed-
for an event at the beach, the first
Yes.
Sunday of every month.
Yes, from May through
Yes, there
October.
are some other products that are not food products.
Yes.
Okay, so then I'll let you answer the question. What is it you'd like from us?
So we're looking for some guidance, because when Joyce and I spoke, and I think Joyce might have some information about the
Yeah.
division of standards.
Yeah.
But we had spoken and we were trying to figure out how to proceed in terms of permitting.
Can I ask a very silly question? What is covered under the farmer's market license?
So we don't have a farmer's market license.
No.
We have liability insurance.
Okay.
Through the Mass Farmers Market and Coalition organization.
Okay.
But we're not licensed. in
I'm
any-
assuming that just covers in case somebody gets hurt
Yes.
during the farmer's market, they sprain an ankle.
Yes.
They can't
Okay.
come after the market. It's really
Yes.
what it is.
Is it possible to create a class permit where, if you have a farmer's market and you apply for an overall permit, if vendors come in, they're automatically licensed for that event at that location?
Yes, that's what I was going to speak
Yeah,
to.
that's what I'm thinking.
So-
Rather, if you have 20 vendors, I don't want to be chasing down 20 permits. I'd rather have one permit and the vendor, while they're on your premise on that date, they're under your license. They show up another day, they need a license.
Well,
Well,
just to be clear, we're
I
not
think what-
licensed, but
Excuse me, I think what you're comparing that to would be our Lions Club flea market. which we
Yeah.
haven't had in a few years, but we come in, we get a permit that day for the.
They
for the
covered
food,
everybody there.
and Yes,
Yeah, that's
So-
unbelievable. We're just make it simple, stupid.
I spoke to the council at the Division of Standards, who issues for the state of Massachusetts, who's issues the hawker peddler, a transient, or a promoter license. So I have the emails from the chief counsel of the Division of Standards, and it says, quote, only the person selling the goods to the public needs the hawker peddler. Because I had written, I said, well, what if somebody has a business and they are making food or whatever in their house or in a commissary kitchen or business, and then they take those products, like, a good example is the Pretentious Pickle. She's squared away, she has a commercial kitchen, she does bottling, she does wholesaling, whole nine yards. She takes those pickles and she sells them at the farmer's market. According to the council for the Division of Standards, he is saying that, quote, if I or my business both operate the kitchen and sells to the public, then I need a hawker peddler. That being said, the issue with the transient is it's expensive. So I feel like it would be cost prohibitive to say to anybody, oh, you got, because it's like $500 a year. And that would cover that if they go to Hingham Market, this market, that market, because they're there for a set amount of time. Transient means that you don't have a storefront, but you are at the same place for the same, for over a course of period that's not to exceed a year. But again, that's expensive. So the $62 permit for hawker peddlers covers, if I have it, it covers me anywhere in the state. The third option is for the farmer's market to get what's called a promoter's license. And I apologize, but I don't know what the cost of that is. And that covers any vendor that they have on the property for the farmer's market. They're covered. They don't need a hawker peddlers. It's sort of similar to like what we should probably be doing with the sip and stroll event at the mall where there's 80 to 100 vendors. They should have this promoter event so that everything is covered under one. That would be the most efficient and smartest way, in my opinion, so that we're not, especially these guys, they're only meeting 6 times a year. And
I just happened to Google a promoter's license.
yeah,
And for 1 to 9 days is $200
Yes.
flat fee.
so that would cover their
So that
time.
could cover
Yes,
everybody
yep.
within.
It is
Hold on, Dennis.
I'm sorry, I think.
no fighting.
I do that to her all the time.
Yes.
Who wants to jump on my stuff? Would the farmer's market would that group find it unacceptable for that $200 fee for the year to just cover this and to make this?
so we had discussed it, the board had internally discussed it after I spoke to Joyce, because Joyce, to her credit, did suggest it. But again, we're an all volunteer market and we're trying to kind of cover costs. So our preference, I think what Joyce mentioned gets at kind of why hawker peddler doesn't really apply. For instance, if Hippie Pilgrim comes to our market, she can herself, Susanna can get a hawker peddler license, but that's personal to her. If she has an employee attend the market, she would have to, I think, under this reading. have
I
a
asked
hawker
Mark
peddler.
about that, and he said if I had the hawker peddler and I was to send somebody, they're not gonna make an issue. Because you, at least you're doing the right thing, kind of.
But
That's why I said the promoter license is really,
would cover it.
in my other option, because of that, was to suggest that, because right now we charge $60 for a farmer's market permit. And they're meeting 6 times. I suggest that we make it so that if a farmer's market is occurring and it's 0 to 10 times during the season, it'd be $30. If they're meeting every weekend, which would be 10 to, let's say, 24 times, it would then jump to the $60 because you're going more weekends. This way, it makes it fair for both sides. I don't want to shortchange these guys by, if their farmer's market was to increase in the amount of times, the fee would go up. But as they're keeping it at this one Sunday a month, it seems a little, I think we could do better to maybe reduce that fee to $30. I don't know what you guys charge for them to participate in the market, perhaps that would help to cover the cost of a promoter's license, because now they're not needing to pay 60 to us, they pay 30 to us, and maybe you go up a couple bucks on their fee, so that would cover the promoters, and then everybody's happy and everybody's covered.
I think the issue, and I certainly, and as I said to you, I really appreciate that because I think it's really kind. I think there are a couple of kind of hiccups there. One, which is that we planned this market having no notice that there was going to be a hawkers, peddlers, or a promoter fee. So it just wasn't built into our budget. And the other is not all of our vendors require Board of Health. permits too. So, and honestly, and again, I think it kind of comes back to, we're not licensed, we're heavily insured, and we require a proof of insurance of, again, $1 million liability policy, whether you sell like dog cookies or whether you sell raw beef. And so like we want to, and we do, our food vendors comply with all of the Board of Health's policies and requirements and permitting. But I think that even the promoter's license seeks to address a harm that frankly is better addressed through the insurance and the liability policies that we have set up. Because I think if there, God forbid, something happened at the market, or a consumer had an issue at the market, again, there are multiple levels of insurance that are there. I'll say since 2018, we have not encountered that. We've not had a consumer complain to us about a product. And I will also note that for our smaller vendors, particularly the artisans, they've expressed that it's financially difficult for them to obtain that insurance policy because frankly, if you don't know how much you're going to sell at a particular market, it's hard to do that initial outlay. We have never waived that. So anyone who you see with the tent on our premises has proven to us that they have the appropriate coverage.
They've given you a binder.
They've given us the binder. And frankly, you know, again, I kind of keep coming back to this, but I think that's the backstop against kind of the transient or itinerant sale, is that if you had a problem, there's a fixed place where one day a month the board is certainly, and we're reachable through a million means, 365 days a year. So I think that's kind of and honestly, moving forward, it may make sense for next year to think about the promoter's license, but our problem was we haven't increased our fees to our vendors. I don't think since 2018, we tried really hard to keep it low cost because particularly for farmers, having it once a month is kind of a detriment because they're not able to kind of bring regularly their goods to market. And we have tried to recognize that it can be a hardship to folks to make those fees. So we haven't raised them, which means on the back end, all of our fees, insurance, storage unit, and the supplies that we use are.
Well, never mind that. The farmer's market brings a service to the town.
So
You're bringing us local vendors.
But the issue becomes
Okay,
that we
so-
also require a hawkers peddlers for all mobile food. Vendors are required to have them as well. So and this is the only reason I became aware of like the requirements, because it's required as part of
So-
that licensing for the
other
mobile
than
trucks.
fee relief, you don't seem to have a problem with the application process, the insurance and the account.
I think moving forward, it would be easier for us to talk about like allocating funds for a promoter's license, like for the 2025 season. I can't speak for the board without consulting everyone about
Understand.
whether it's feasible now.
Hey, Dennis?
I would like to, work on an arrangement where the cost of putting on a farmer's market in terms of going to the Board of Health and what our requirements are is as low as humanly possible. Because I think it's advantageous for a healthy Kingston to begin to have people produce locally. I mean, we're talking about a sustainable planet and stuff like that. So I don't want a bureaucracy or fees to get in the way of that, but at the same time, I want to make sure that there's adequate protection to the public. And it sounds like with your liability and your insurance policies, we can work on, that has a level of protection there that actually exceeds anything we could possibly do here. So that the spirit of the board, at least this board member, I think it's probably pretty much across the board, is we would do what we can to ensure that you can put farmers market can go on with a minimum burden so that the farmers and the people that are doing the promotion get as much profit from that as possible. So it encourages more rather than less.
We appreciate that. And again, I think Joyce and I have a good working relationship, and there were a couple of other loose ends that we're happy, with the blood spill and kind of all of those.
Yeah.
We're the board creating market-wide policies to kind of both relieve the duty on individual vendors and then satisfy Joyce's
What do you
concerns, which
have
are
for a
valid.
suggestion?
Well,
We can do, that
okay.
will both cover the requirements.
yeah, I mean, I'm not in charge of the Division of Standards. I'm just saying what the rules
I'm asking
of the
you for
state
a
are.
sug- I'm asking you
So,
for a
I
suggestion.
guess my thought going forward, because they've already started, is.
So they start May 1st.
Right, but
Yeah,
it's for all
but-
intents and purposes, it's already in the works.
Yeah.
How about if we instituted that going forward, say, starting, when's the last one, October?
October is our final.
That November first, any function, gathering, however you want to work, event in the town of Kingston that has multiple vendors at it, the person running or organizing that event is required to have a promoter's license that will cover everybody operating under that license. Nobody needs a hawker peddlers. So obviously have to have any required food permits, like, with Sip and Stroll, they still have to get their event day permits,
No
but I will get to
license.
that as well. To cover all of that, but that way it's fair across the board, whether it's the market doing it or the special events at the Kingston Collection. Everybody's on an even playing field. We're requiring the same of everyone.
Starting November 1st.
November
which gets
1st,
The farmer's market through this season.
Yeah.
right?
So that you guys can reorganize for next
Yeah.
year's budget.
Yes.
And then my second would be that the board just, I don't know, say that at this time that you specifically are not requiring hawker peddler for the farmer's market for the 2024 season. And that way, the board has decided that we are not gonna request it.
Can I ask just a clarifying question? So like the Sip and Stroll at the Kingston
Yeah,
collection, they didn't have to have hawker peddler?
no, they were supposed to. That's where the whole thing came about,
Okay.
because I have people that actually do have it, because they're doing the
Yeah.
right thing. And so I'm like,
Okay.
oh crap. So that's when I
Okay.
reached out to the Division of Standards to find out what the rules were, who's supposed to have it, who's not supposed to have it, what are the options? Because I was a small business once, I get it, and so that would be my second suggestion as far as how to deal with this current season. And then the third thing would be to really, that I really strongly suggest that we step the cost for farmer's market to be 0 to 10 visits times a year is $30, 11 to 24 times a year, it goes up to 60. And that,
Similar to what they have for the promoter's license.
yeah, well,
The tiered, so the state has the promoter's.
yeah,
license
I
tiered.
didn't see that, but
Yeah.
my concern is these guys are only coming 6 times, $60 if you're somebody selling
No, I get it.
carrots, or cantaloupe, that's a lot of money. So I think that would be, and it would be fair. We're still collecting a fee for processing the farmer's market permits. But that as the number of events go up, so should they decide to up their events to every other week and it grows, then the fee grows with that to make it equitable for everybody.
Explain to me how or if this is going to affect any of the other things that have gone on in town before that may continue to go on in town.
Well, that's why I say that we have a far out date of November 1st.
So what happens?
Because we're doing due diligence to give everybody warning to say, we are getting in line with the Division of Standards and what is required, and this will in fact cover everybody to make it so that everyone can participate in these events with minimal hardship. Because the promoters are charging fees, like that Sip and Stroll, you pay $85. Each vendor pays $85 to participate in that, besides the
Plus approval
75.
liability.
Plus so for food vendors is one thing. So for us, because you have to be licensed with us, you have to have proof of liability, serve safe, allergen awareness. You have to have your bodily fluid spill procedures and your employee reporting agreement that says you understand you're not going to work if you're sick. Because they should be required to have all of those things to be a licensed food establishment to begin with. So that should be a no-brainer for anybody doing food, but they should already have that at their,
This does not,
it doesn't put a hardship on anybody, because I'm already,
it doesn't, negate any of the requirements.
for food, no, 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 no,
I'm just-
no, no, no.
Okay.
It's just saying to the food people, pretentious pickle, I just keep picking her because she was in our office and she's so cute.
She's very kind.
She is so nice, but she doesn't have to go get a hawker peddler to participate in different events here in the town of Kingston. As long as the event has a promoter's license, everybody's covered. It just makes it easier for everybody,
Mhm.
especially the smaller vendors. But we have to have something because
Are
that's what the
we at
division
the point
says.
where we can make a motion?
I think so.
Fine by me.
I just ask one question,
You, of course.
and I think I understand. So you're gonna do things at the beach,
Yes,
because all this talk has got me mixed up. We
Yes.
started with the beach, and we ended up with the world.
we're Grace Beach.
So you're all set with the beach?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
they work out of the beach. but-
Perfect.
Yeah, I'd like to move our health agent's recommendations as a board policy.
Oh, you want me to
I
state
think
them?
Lori
Yeah.
has,
I'm saying the
Okay, so
exact
policy-
language, I don't want
No,
to
that's
bump
fine.
it up.
Policy number one, a promoter's license will be required for all multi-vendor events in the town of Kingston, starting November 1st of 2024. That's number one.
So moved.
Oh, no, you gotta finish.
yeah,
No. Number two, we move to amend the fees for farmers market
with a graduated,
with a graduated fee schedule of 0 to 10 visits. $30, 11 plus would be $60.
So moved.
second,
Thoughts,
Good to know.
thoughts?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Great.
Okay,
Thank
With my
you.
apology to my associate here for stepping on her and not paying attention to what she's talking.
Eventually,
Thank you what's coming out of my mouth.
eventually she's gonna punch you out.
Put the word out.
Yes. No, it's just those, make sure it gets-
Anybody who's
Far
already
enough away,
paid
she's not
us,
kicking range.
We haven't processed many farmers.
may have a couple, but
Okay.
I filled off.
So they're depositing anything?
I haven't deposited anything in a while. but
Okay.
Some
Just,
people may have.
so will the fee schedule apply for this?
Yes.
season? Okay.
Starting,
okay.
are we doing the fee schedule starting now? What do you want that to start in
So
November
The
now?
problem is we just said November 1st. for
Okay,
that
so
fee
no,
schedule.
so the
Okay.
fee schedule is
Yeah, no,
gonna
that's-
stay
I'm
60
sorry.
for this
No, no, I
year,
just went to- Yeah, no, that's.
and
fine.
we'll start it for next
That's
season,
fine. And
but then
we'll-
you'll know too.
No, I really appreciate that. I think as long as it kind of gives us a planning space to kind of try to adjust. I think
The
you guys
other
need
thing
a
we-
coffee can at the farmer's market saying, help us pay for next year's promoter's license.
The other thing we need to promote,
Sponsorships? or anything?
We had in the past had sponsorships. To be honest, we have very, like, we kind of operate on a shoestring budget because we
yeah.
we have
it's
fairly small needs.
volunteers.
Yeah, and it helps that none of us are being paid.
The other thing we need to do is, the board needs to make a motion to forego any hawker peddler for the farmer's market for the 2024 season.
So moved.
Larry, have you got that?
I think it's-
I will second that one too.
Thank you.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
and once again, you're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for coming
Thank
in and
you.
clearing this up.
Thank you for hearing me. Thanks, Trace. We'll
Be in touch about the
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you.
Well, let's give Joyce a break and let
Thank
you
you.
talk about health use. How's that?
Okay. I'm looking for some group participation here. Joyce, if you have anything you want to say, the next program is the 18th, so it's a week from Thursday.
I can't because I have to be at the mosquito control commission,
Okay.
but perhaps
If you could.
when's the
relay
next
and
one after that?
It would be the third Thursday of the month
Okay,
at 1:00.
I'll let you know if,
And if there's anything you want me to announce that's going on,
yep, we'll try to come up with a couple things. We do have the advocacy hours through the grant nurse.
How's that going?
Horrible. We've had one participant, which really is distressing piece. I can't imagine that there aren't people out there that need help navigating medical services.
Can we make it a mobile thing that Pat would go to their houses?
I can talk to her
Can you,
about it.
can you ask her about
Yeah.
that? Cause I wonder, I mean. What I.
We're trying to
picture
make it
this
for
need-
everybody, not just elderly people, so.
But I picture this need being the people who have more of a tough time getting out of
Sure.
the house, no matter their age.
Yep.
You know, whether it be that they have small children at home, that getting over here with 5 little kids doesn't work. Or, you know.
Or even by telephone.
Or your telephone.
Okay.
I think that you might lose some by telephone if you tried to do it by telephone.
Yeah,
I think a face-to-face is important with this.
What about different sites? What about at the library?
That might be a good.
different
idea.
sites. Yeah, no, I'm open, we're open to suggestions. But it would be great to put that on Healthy Kingston to say that that service is available. If you can't make it in, please give us a call so we can figure something out.
And it's on the website?
It's posted everywhere. We got it on Facebook, the website. For the COA, I believe, put it out there as well.
Yeah, I gave one to libraries.
Oh, you did, okay. So it's there. The rec department is very good about
I
publicizing
may have
things
put it in the
too.
rec department too.
It came across on the rec,
Yeah, okay.
It did,
Yeah, I
okay.
know they were putting out blasts.
but the Reed Center would be another good location to go hit,
Yep,
to set up a spot, you know, just to make it easy. Some
I'll
options
talk
with
to,
that.
Pat. She's
See what
doing,
she's
yeah,
open to.
I think is she due here Thursday or tomorrow? She's here this week, I'll find her.
Excellent, thank you.
I wish, and I think it would be to her advantage since she's looking to be more visible. She's declined my invitation to be on the program before. I think she needs to be on the program.
Well, I
think she
can
needs to introduce
certainly,
herself And tell people who
encourage?
she is and what she
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, I will encourage that when I see her this week.
Yeah, so it would be very helpful if she would
Okay.
be on the program next week and she would speak on behalf of the program, on this advocacy program, what exactly she has to offer.
Okay. I
We give you
can,
subpoena powers?
What's she had to offer to what?
for advocacy
For
program.
advocacy, she's the person who people go to and. she
I
helps
understand that,
them
but
through the
she's also
system.
in another position that I'm inclined to say, personally, my personal opinion is you should almost wait until June.
Yeah, that might,
Oh, because it
Yeah.
could be a conflict.
yeah, it might be a good
Well,
idea, Janet.
How about we change direction and talk about the emails that you sent me, Jan?
Yeah,
Wait a minute, let's finish this,
Okay.
because I don't,
I was-
I just want you to understand that she's in another position.
Right, I realize.
And
yeah,
I don't want
realize.
to do something that could be
Jeopardize it.
construed as-
Okay,
You follow,
okay, yeah, I follow you, yeah, I follow you.
you understand, so we're good, I don't want to be at odds. with-
but we can
Yeah,
find
no.
something else too, Janet. We can find something else. We'll figure something out.
Set it up for
Are you
June.
still doing the Safe Serve classes? What's going on with that?
Yeah, but we wouldn't be doing one again until the summer. But,
How well received was that?
we got, I think 17 people.
Really?
Yep. So it was
Primarily from
good.
Kingston? or
Yeah,
all over?
I think everybody was from Kingston. So, yeah,
Great.
yep. So hopefully maybe we can look at dates. Maybe we can also put that out there on Healthy Kingston as well.
What
Okay.
about letting the, grant committee know? Like.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
That food inspector,
Yeah.
because he, you know, he makes, is it still the same guy?
Oh, God, no, we have an awesome female.
Excellent.
Grant
Maybe she
inspector.
would be happy to let the other towns. when
Yeah,
She pops into the other establishments.
Yeah.
Hey, if you have somebody who needs surf safe.
well, I can just make up some flyers for her to hand out.
That'd
too.
be awesome.
Okay, but maybe we can look at some dates and I can get back to you on that. If it's the 18th, I get a little time.
Another one, I've invited 2 or 3 times to come and speak, although this maybe June would be better in light of what you said earlier, is Linda Reardon. So that people know about the grant.
Oh, no,
She's
I
never
can
been
talk
on
to
the
Linda.
program. She's never mentioned the grant, and I'd really like her explain to people what it's all about.
I can get in touch with her about that, no problem.
Well, I have, but
But I'll reach out to her.
okay, that would be great. All right, otherwise, what I had been thinking of is, and trying to be current and, wanted to run this by Heidi. You had brought up the suggestion, which I thought was great, that there be a contest among the school children.
I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah,
An essay
to
contest.
pick a health topic.
Yep.
Have them address it, and then we pick the best one, and that student goes on Healthy Kingston.
Reads
talks
it.
about it, reads it, talks about it.
Yeah.
They get a prize, they get recognition. I was thinking about coordinating it with a counselor from the school. For example, one of the topics I was thinking about, certainly is an issue in my extended family, is social media. And social media, is it healthy or not? You know, and having the student does their essay, reads their essay, and the social worker at the school talks about implications of social media on kids.
Yeah, I think with your teenage groups, like middle school and up, that would be a great one. I came up with another one for
What
you.
was them?
Is being a good friend important to your health?
Kind of deep. How old is the kid you want to do this?
Hey, ask Juliet.
Yeah,
Is
no, I
being
think
a
that
good
that's
friend
huge.
important to staying healthy?
Well, I know Juliet would say yes. She's
Exactly, and she'd
musically-
tell you exactly why. And how old is she now? 7,
6.
6? Okay.
It's gonna be 6.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
for like little kids, I'm guessing that we could come up with some topics, so, you know, that would be appropriate for little kids too.
What looks like a healthy plate?
You know, what is your,
Any of
even
these
having them
things.
give you ideas about, ways, like maybe the 10 to 15-year-olds, like, what does a healthy meal look like for you? What, do you have any good recipes? Having
Mhm.
kids be active in the kitchen. That kind of thing might be helpful as well,
Yeah,
because it's more
or-
hands-on for kids who's not big on writing.
How do you stay active? Or what is your favorite way to stay active and why?
I'd like to keep the theme consistent.
Okay.
Okay,
I don't have a problem with those subjects per se, but I think there are a lot more deeper issues going on right now. And, social media and using electronics, I think are very, for me, that's where on my perspective, I don't know, you're a mom of
no, I
of
would
several
agree
kids.
with that.
Yeah, I've got a big age range going right now.
Yeah.
I think really, if you were to talk about, if you wanted social media to be your building block, I think really to the little kids, you'd say, how can you be a good friend? Or what does it take to be a good friend? Because that's how you're gonna start good building blocks of good relationships. In teaching people how to be respectful to each other.
Because it is super easy to say whatever you want behind the anonymity of a phone or
Yeah,
Facebook
but
or
if
whatever
you-
else they're using.
You know, and then talk about, you know, what was your first, maybe. What was your first?
Well, I mean, you can get into all sorts of talk.
No, but you
bullying
kind of have to
and-
tier it.
Well, that's it. What would
Yeah.
it be for middle school versus high school?
Yeah, so.
High school
middle
might be
school-
more on peer pressure in
Cyberbullying.
cyberbullying or photographs, you know, exchanging pictures, that kind of like being concerned about that kind of stuff, because like that happens more in high school. Whereas, you know, maybe the bullying starts a little bit
We could
earlier.
even take it, depending on how timely we're gonna do it, with all the talk of the TikTok ban. Social media, and just say, you know, why do you think TikTok is healthy? You know, and let them blow it up from there, because they will. They're gonna take these things and they are gonna right to their heart's content or draw you a picture. or-
Especially if they think somebody's gonna take it away from them.
Yeah. It's very
Um,
interesting to watch, and then there's gonna be
But
other people. who
TikTok is
notice.
one avenue. It's not,
It is, but it's such
But
a
that's the
current event,
Big
and
thing.
it's such a big thing in the school right now. Because it's such a current event, and they're saying, you know, they all have a finger on the pulse of what's going on with this.
My understanding is kids, like especially high school kids, they're more into that. They're not
They
Facebooky and,
Snapchat.
is that what it is? I know they're not big on Facebook, right?
No,
That's-
it's
that's-
Snapchat.
That, Facebook's old people.
Yeah. Uh-huh. The moms. But there's Snapchat, Instagram. Snapchat, I really don't care for because they can write anything about anybody. They look at it, disappears.
but what's the general term that would encompass Snapchat and?
Social media. is
Social
the general
media.
term.
Cause then they'll pick what's important to them too.
Okay, what about, I mean, I've noticed my grandson, he's 11, 5th grade. All of a sudden, he's having conversations with people online and he's, you know, like, and FaceTiming them, which he never did when he was younger,
FaceTiming who?
supposedly a girlfriend. So what is, you know,
Well, that's, I
the
mean,
middle school thing, what would that? That's just all that much more.
how
about-
would you identify a child predator?
I
they
don't know
know,
if I
but
wanna
that's-
go there.
No,
but,
because I can tell you, you start so young, Janet. I talked to Addie, who just turned 10 about it. About how you only have friends online that you know who they really are. It needs to be somebody that you have met face to face, that you've had a conversation with. That you know. It can't be somebody that you just met
popped up
on
on
the
the-
computer.
But what about friends in media, or friends in computers, or friends in? And let them get into that if they care to. I mean,
You could
how do you phrase this for middle school?
for middle school.
I think that's something we can
Creating
work
friends
on.
on media?
I think Dennis has an idea.
Okay,
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, goes back to the old cartoon in the New Yorker. On the dog sitting there at a computer. They say to another dog, on the internet, nobody knows you're a dog. This is, way back when. But that's also true. You have no idea who you're interacting with unless you know that person. They can be anybody. Even the pictures you get are not necessarily them. The best advice I have to parents. Well, first of all, be aware of what your children are doing online, have some pretty tight standards. Don't hesitate to check their phone from time to time. But also give them education about what you see is not necessary. Don't believe everything you see. Because it's on the screen of on your phone screen doesn't make it true. And how to protect yourself.
So we're talking about an essay contest.
Yeah,
So we're trying to like narrow this down for an essay contest.
For kids, not for
Dennis,
the
for-
yeah,
parents.
I know, I was, how do you,
and
Maybe
and the
Dennis
hook
could
for
find us,
each age level.
but maybe Dennis could find us that New York, the New Yorker.
that cartoon, yeah,
And use that as your premise.
Yeah, that's,
What do you think? Yeah,
Yeah,
like, look at
when
this.
you
what do
see this
think?
cartoon, what does it make you think of?
it could be something like stranger
you
danger.
could probably find it.
You know, I mean, like only, how would you identify stranger danger on
A computer.
a computer?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, I think
On
that
social
goes down to
media.
the grade schools again. I
Yeah.
think that middle school, the tween years
It's the
is a
toughest.
tougher one, where you've got some kids who are rising to the high school level of thought, and some kids that are still down at the elementary level of thought.
But-
But if we did something a little more general with, like the cartoon that Dennis is talking about,
Yeah, you'll get different responses from different age groups.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
One of I really think this is critically important and is not covered nearly enough. Because children at that age are beginning to form their opinion of themselves, their sense of who they are by the relationships they have with other people or other items in their life. And if you form a value, you think you have a relationship of some value with a non-existent entity that's scamming you, spamming you, or whatever online, that can have a really negative impact, because people tend to invest, they want validation, especially at a young age. And if you're getting validation from somebody who does not have your interests in mind, whether it's their personality type or whatnot, some people collect friends just as a number. They don't care who you are. They don't care about you. They don't care about your feelings or anything like that. And they can say something negative, and all of a sudden you have a kid that's invested a lot of time and emotion, and just devastated by that. And I'm beginning to see that with my grandchildren. The older ones are beginning to cross over from being entirely everything's first person to now it's first person twice removed by a phone or the internet.
Yeah, no, I readily, I see adults, people who get on dating sites and they think that
Get
they're
scammed.
scammed, these people aren't who they said they were.
Oh, and the big
Just
thing
very
is,
good.
it's so easy to fall in love with falling in love, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You fall in like or falling in like.
Well, if we could think of anything else, Janet, we
Okay.
can, maybe
Okay,
during
I
our day.
want to get one of the counselors in from the school.
Want to get what?
One of the counselors, social workers came in and spoke, oh golly, a couple of years ago about something going on with kids, but she was at the high school. And I've reached out to Carol Beck. I'm gonna have to do that again. She's sort of been my segue. Or do you have a personal relationship with any of the counselors at the school? Well, Pop, that's probably a good thing. But,
No, I'm sorry, I don't, but I don't.
I'm
probably a
gonna
good
see
thing.
Carol on,
Yeah, because you can do like the adjustment counselor or the social worker who's. at the
Right.
school.
I'm meeting with Carol on Wednesday. I can put
All
a
right, would you
bug
please
in her
ask
ear.
her if she could, and I would need this person. I would need this person on the 18th.
Okay, I will do my best. I make no promises.
Okay,
I will reach out to Linda and I will reach out to Carol
great.
and Pat. Well, not Pat, but around that, but for future reference.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the two of you have an open invitation, well, any of you have an open invitation if there's anything you want to say on Elton Kingston. You have that invitation. I've had a very difficult time with the veterans, only because I had them all booked up, and I guess that woman was retiring, and then.
Jen's retired too.
Do it, and anyway, yeah, that's happened twice.
Well,
So I don't wanna
we're gonna be
ruin it.
starting the memorial project out front within the next, probably next week.
Oh,
So that might be something
That would be
that
a great.
you could get maybe a member of the committee. I believe it's a guy named Bob Kenner, who is the very active in the committee for this project. And the guy who's been doing a lot of the coordinating on behalf of the town is Paul Armstrong. And that might be an avenue for you, or some veterans. We have a couple
There's
right here in the room.
There's a man that's been working with her in the office.
Den,
Yeah, he's very
he's
nice.
super nice, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
we have a feeling who the new person will be. She's fantastic and she's a disabled vet.
Well, a lot of people.
But the man working with her right now is retired. And he'd be great if you call her up and get his name, maybe he'll do it.
okay, I think he was gonna do it at one point. What's his name again?
Den
Yeah.
Forbes, I believe is his last name.
Dan?
Yeah,
He's nice, very nice man.
Okay,
I guarantee you, once we start excavating that, there's gonna be a lot of people going, what's going on, what
Yep.
are they doing, but
Okay.
that type of thing. So for you to have something on your program talking about it.
Okay.
The last
And the
I heard
woman-
that the monument itself is hung up in the Suez Canal, but it's
Oh.
coming.
it's coming.
oh, Jesus.
The woman who is
Yeah.
going to be retiring,
Nice guy.
but who's still there, what's her name?
Priscilla.
Priscilla, yeah.
Because I have her email.
I was with it this morning.
So go back to this other thing. On the essay contest. Nobody's gonna have better input than the teacher of the grade that you select. That you're gonna use for the contest. Let's just say that you said, I'd like to use the fourth grade. And you went up to the elementary school and asked the principal of the elementary school to go to the teachers of the fourth grade class. And come back with an idea of what they thought might be the best subject for your essay. And then they write it, and then you pick the winner, and then you bring it back, and they announce it at the school, and then you have them on Healthy Kingston.
That sounds great.
Good.
In reality, it sounds, it sounds good, but in reality, it is a very long, slow process. When I
think
did,
so.
when we
Okay.
did the logo, basically Carol Beck is my entree to the schools. And I told her about it. She reached out to the teachers and the different grade levels. They disseminated the information to the students. Then the students need about a month to put it together. Then we have to retrieve them, go over them, and pick the student. I would like to get this done before summer vacation.
Which
so that
doesn't
they
give you a
would-
lot of time.
What age group are you targeting?
I'm talking all three, but I originally thought it just middle school. And I thought, well, do we want to do all three, but just. keep
So
a
actually,
similar
you've
theme?
got 4 schools, because you have
Oh, 4.
KES, which is K through 2. You have
think that's too
KIS,
young.
I think that's too young.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
I wouldn't go there, yeah, okay,
which is 3 through 6.
okay.
Then you
That's
have
the
the
Fourth grade.
intermediate.
KIS, yep. And then you go to Silver Lake Regional Middle School, which is 7 and 8. And then the high school is 9 to 12.
I hope to be able to deal with the schools. They're $1.2 million short budget.
They have an awards night, and we go and give out money from the Lions Club, the Yacht Club, various clubs in town. They have an awards night, and if you did it with,
Well, you
you
could
know,
give
the
out.
upper grade. No, you could
your
help the
grandchild,
Kingston,
give it out.
whatever,
Um,
somebody could give it out at that time.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the timeline, but they probably get out the middle of June.
They're getting out early, June 14th this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
We haven't had any snow days.
I know, it's just amazing.
so getting out the
We
information,
did winter. break.
having them do it in the month
Yeah,
of
we
Thank God it
May,
went.
and then decide.
So maybe a better avenue is to run this through the PTO and have them
There's
get
your-
it out, like do
It's every-
a combo effort.
Okay. Okay,
Who's in charge? I will get you the information of who the PTO president is for both schools, for all the schools. I have emails from them. That's-
Okay, you got anything else on Healthy Kingston? Are you good with that? All right. Well, if I can help you in any way, let me know.
well,
like
and
the
just
idea
while
of
it
the
comes
board.
up, going forward, I won't be at the meetings, but, if you want to relay to me, Joyce, Heidi.
Yeah.
whoever, what you'd like included, topics you'd like, speakers you'd like, any ideas, I mean, I'll certainly go out and do some research. and
Do you get
relay
my
to you.
emails, Janet, or are they somehow getting forwarded to your junk mail? Because I've emailed you back a couple times when you've emailed me asking me stuff.
I'll look in my junk mail.
Check your
No,
junk
'cause I
mail, because
haven't
I've
seen them.
answered everything you've emailed.
Really?
me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. All
and
right,
I was
I'm
wondering
sorry
if
about
maybe it
that.
ended up in your junk mail.
Yeah, maybe I will definitely.
Yeah,
go.
not big deal. I know if I really need you, I call you.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
you're always on it, so I don't.
Okay,
Want me to pick up?
food trucks. Going
Yeah,
on.
just, so usually we permit January 1st to December 31st. I'd like to change it so that we, because it is important for us to have deadlines as to when this stuff needs to get in. Because I think people, maybe you guys don't realize, but we're getting, 70 applications of different kinds at one time. We're getting all of the restaurant, establishment, retail, commissary kitchens, residential kitchens. What else we do? The septic haulers,
Install.
Trash.
stallers, trash. So December is just horrendous. Because we can't take a shortcut on this. You have to go through each application and make sure everything is attached. So that being said, it seems to me that given that most of the food trucks are not running in the wintertime, that we change their permit dates to April 1st to March 31st. We can still have a deadline for them to get all their paperwork in by March 1st to give us that month to process. Plus, we usually have the food truck, like I did the food truck, association inspection. So I think I did 17 trucks in one day, 18 trucks in one day. And as not fun as that is, it's a hell of a lot more effective and a good use of my time. It's one place, I bang everybody out, everybody's done. So if we were to do that, they would still be permitted until the 31st of March, but this way we're not getting inundated with that many more, because I think we usually hit maybe between 25 and 30 trucks all year. So at least if we move it, that piece will be a little bit later, much like we do with swimming pools. Nobody's swimming in January. So our pool, applications, our pool registration isn't due summer camps, so it kind of spreads it out. But right now we have it from January 1st to December 31st, so I assumed that I needed to bring that to you guys to change that. If not, then fine, I'll
That's
just
just
do it.
clerical as far as that goes.
You don't care, all
We're
right,
not
so,
changing the fees. It's
Nope,
just-
nope,
it's a
nope.
procedural thing
nope,
in the office.
we already changed that, nope,
I
that's
think we're
fine.
Fine with that.
All right, and the only other thing
But
related to
everybody you've already done.
everybody's done for the year. I'm talking about next year to allow people to let people know, hey, we're just gonna, it's gonna be for the 1st to the 31st. So
Yeah.
we'll just give a grace period for
That's
those
the
couple of
office.
months.
Yeah.
They're closed anyways. Nobody's operating a truck, so I'm not worried. I'm losing out.
Yeah, I was more worried about them losing out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Talk to me about deadlines. What's
No,
this?
just that we have been finding that like the sip and stroll, that was ridiculous. How many did we do? 30? I want to say it was 30 food permits. So, and we did the first one in December was crazy because people were coming in like the week before. So the second one, I told the promoter, everything has to be in 6 weeks to a month before the program. I will accept applications starting 6 weeks before. But you have basically a 2-week window to get everything in, because I cannot express to you how often we're on the phone or email. I need this. I need it. Even though we give them a checklist, they still turn stuff incomplete. So by having a deadline, and I think the other thing is to let the promoter know, as well as put it on all the applications, that if your application is incomplete, it will not be processed. Because you cannot imagine the amount of time we are spending looking at these things.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is there a way to have a stop in the computer system that if they don't have the proper things attached?
Well, they're doing
Then
this
it
on
won't-
paper and pencil right now.
Oh,
We do not have that. We're supposed to be getting training on this, rightly. There's been no training.
oh.
So we can't even
The
access,
online licensing and permitting is coming.
but we don't have it. We have it, but we haven't been trained on it. So,
It's coming.
yeah, I would love to be able to use that, because at least my understanding from my last town, whatever the system is we use, it isn't the same one we have here, but it's close enough. You are not allowed to pay until all the documents, and I check it off, and if it's not, like, it just sits there, and you will get a email saying you're missing documents, but it's not on us to chase you down.
Do we know when that's gonna go live?
I would love to answer that question, but I do not.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Believe me, I would jump at the chance, because it will make our lives easier, because as a checklist, it's very clear about what we want. We are posting, we have created checklists to go with the applications. But much like, I'm sure all of you experience, people just don't read. It's good enough. And so it's a lot of back and forth.
Chicken nuisance deadline.
Yeah, so on that Nottingham address, the chickens have been removed. Myself and Joe from Animal Control went out to survey the property. The chickens are gone. She has 6 ducks, which originally weren't issued in the complaint because they weren't up until this point being a nuisance. But now that the chickens are gone, we've received a complaint that now apparently the ducks were on somebody's driveway or across the street. So the ducks are being rehomed, but I do need to ask for, I want to give her time to find an appropriate home. These ducks mean a lot to these people and, it's an unfortunate situation that I just don't think is gonna get any better at this point. And so, I wanna make sure that we give her ample time to rehome the ducks in an appropriate place so that they can live their little duck lives happily. So if anybody doesn't have an issue, I'd like to just extend it, give her to the end of April
They
to,
can't fix the place to keep the ducks.
it's past that. Well, it's been ongoing. They need to get
So
rid of the
We had
ducks.
a very large discussion when we did this animal
Yeah.
bill, well, the farm animal bill. That we were not gonna allow the Board of Health to be caught in between the neighbor feud.
Right. Well, I think
And
that
it
ship is sealed at this
seems-
point.
Seems as though we've allowed ourselves to get there.
The issue becomes it's a nuisance because they're on,
Someone else's
another's property and
Okay.
apparently there's poop. So I have to cipher because that's what your regs say.
So
So
did you?
I've had multiple
No,
conversations.
hold on. Did you see the poop? Just like we can't file stuff in the Alex or the point.
Right.
or-
Oh, we get lots of pictures.
So, but how do you know that's actually a picture from that day?
I
Have you
know,
gone down and visualized the poop on the
I
driveway?
have not personally.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I know it's, I
I'm just
personally
saying.
have not seen the animals off the property. But apparently to my understanding, this has been going on for long before I came here. There's at least 4 years of documentation in our office.
Okay,
And so the owner has agreed to just,
rehome them.
yeah, because it's
Okay.
getting to the point where it's just not good.
Is it the same person complaining about ducks, geese and humans and everything else?
Well, I know about the human part, but
Well, that'll
yes,
be next.
yes. So that being said, just trying to be fair to everybody and follow the rules. But I'm asking if we could give a 30-day extension to give her time to get rid of the ducks. And so to the end of April would be great.
Who issued the initial order to remove them?
We did. We had it at the last board meeting.
We did. So then that said, if we did it, and we have to grant you the additional 30 days if that's what you're looking for.
I would
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Dennis,
So moved.
Awesome. Thank
Valerie,
you.
you got
guys.
it?
We're
Second,
granting
yeah.
30 days extension on the,
Remove the duck.
yes, to remove the
Who
ducks.
made the motion?
Dennis,
Dennis,
Heidi seconded it, I think.
I didn't, Janet seconded.
Janet
it.
seconded.
Janet
it.
seconded.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Okay,
unanimous.
The next
Okay.
item is just really for, information. Apparently DOR has been asking us, for information concerning tax ID, and EIN numbers, for businesses and licensing. It came down through the clerk's office. So we're putting it on our applications because it was a painstaking process. Thank you, Lori, to gather all this information and put it in a spreadsheet for DOR. We have completed it to the best of our ability, but going forward, we will request that as part of all applications so that we have it on file.
Thank you, Lori.
Review of the public hearing notice, that was really a question about,
The wording on, what the notice should say for the tobacco.
because we have to, remember, we were gonna have the tobacco hearing about adding business laws to it, but we need to know what the correct wording to that is.
you have,
I put it in there.
It's,
And while you guys are looking that up, I'm gonna pass the letter around. We just want you guys to look at it. It's concerning the motion that was made last time to allow for a $75 reinspection fee after on the third inspection when you're not complying.
with the tobacco.
No, this was for the food inspections, where we keep going back and they're not doing anything. So as of May 1st, this gets instituted, but we wanted to pass that around for you to just peruse in case anybody had any issues with it.
Well, I don't have what it should look like. I thought I.
And we can certainly send.
Anyway, this is what we could, the closest thing we could come up with in the general laws.
I just.
Oh, there it is.
This is it.
Yeah, so this
So-
is. You know, what the notice looks like. I just don't know, like, the clerk,
well, your question was on the notice.
the notice, sorry.
Here, Janet. The Board of Health will be holding a public hearing under chapter 270, section 6. A public discussion of the amending and or changing the tobacco regulation.
I don't know, yeah, that's the part I'm questioning whether that is correct.
We're just not sure, and we want to make sure it's right.
Then you could add in the enforcement section. To remove tobacco products from being sold when a violation for sale of tobacco to a minor is given. Right now, all they have to do is pay the fine.
Right,
But what you're asking, what we're considering is also come up with
imposing
taking the
business
tobacco
laws.
products off the shelf for a period of time. In
Which
addition to
we
that,
spoke about at a prior meeting.
everybody liked that idea.
Yeah,
So,
we just want to
Yeah.
make sure the wording to the notice is correct, because we have to post it.
Yeah,
well, if
it's
you
on
really want
paper.
to do that, then the person to ask is to send it upstairs to town council and let them look at it, but I would
Okay.
probably just add enforcement section. Because that's the section of the regulation. that you're
Just
looking to
scribble it
change.
where you want us to include that.
Okay. Just my suggestion.
I agree with it, Joe.
I was gonna mention on this, this one,
Feel free to scribble on it.
well, it's, okay, this letter is to inform you that beginning May 1st, if during the health inspection you are given a violation, you will be given a time frame to correct the violation. What about putting in what the time frame is?
Well, because it depends on the violation.
Violation,
Some might
okay.
get a 10 days, some might get 30 days. It
Okay.
depends on what it is,
Okay.
what the violation, how
Uh-huh.
long we are allowed to give them. Some things are what's called critical. So they have, like you say, 24 hours, 48 hours a week. There's different
And
timeframes.
it's a standard throughout the
Yeah.
state.
If it's in the food code.
Yeah. That looks great.
Okay, as long as nobody has any, we just wanted to run it by everyone before we sent it out.
Yeah, I think this is fine, but again, if
Okay.
you really wanna,
No, we'll run it up to council just to make sure it's good, and then that solves the
will you
problem.
retype it first?
No, we're
No.
gonna send it with your scribbles. We like your scribbles.
I didn't mean to laugh on that.
No, I don't know. It's
That's okay, I
fair.
said no.
Scribbles.
Scribbles.
All right,
My way.
so we're okay on that. The farmer's market,
Yep.
fee and we're all set on that, right?
Yep.
Okay,
So we're going down to,
revolving
yeah,
fund approval
so-
for the health department. Did you
Yes,
speak to the treasurer about it?
yes, it is on the warrant.
Okay,
So, and what it would entail is the ability for us to have a revolving fund for, the serve safe classes, so that we can, buy books and supplies. And so I figured start with that and try to expand it to include other educational pieces, so that we might be able to expand
Or maybe
it.
even like a hardship form or something like that.
Oh, I meant like, no, like instead of just being for serve safe right now, to maybe expand it to include other things, educational programs. that we're
No,
putting
but
on.
I meant like somebody who wants to get a job in a restaurant that's trying to get served safe but has a hardship.
Yeah. Well,
Doesn't
we-
have the job yet,
Right,
It
it's
may
it's
be-
$80. It's
but
Like-
some people don't have enough for groceries and are
Yeah.
looking for jobs.
true.
And like, that's the type of hardship I'm
Yep.
talking about. And they're like, hey, I'm gonna try and get a restaurant job. Let me get my serve safe. And be one step closer.
We can, yeah,
Just thinking.
I just need to know it's okay with you guys, that nobody in here has a problem with it.
No, no.
It's still got to pass town meeting, but FinCon approved it. I got past FinCon,
You
so,
don't know where it is on it, on the vote. You don't know where it is yet.
no, it was unanimous at FinCon, so.
No,
We'll find
but
out
it is
when
on the
they-
warrant.
Oh, I have no idea where it's on the
When
warrant.
they approve the
In
article.
other words, we should all be there to vote for it.
Yes, we should.
I think it would, I'm sure you could easily do this. Just keep track of who attends these courses so that you could use that as support, you know. how
Oh,
many people
yeah.
attend. But also, is there an evaluation piece for the course?
Not yet, but I mean, certainly willing to do that.
Yeah, I think definitely there should be an evaluation piece and what people are planning to do with this.
Did you put it
And
in?
how did they like the class? What did they like? What didn't they like? Yeah, I would always. I would
Ask
have
if the
an
rooms warm or
evaluation.
cold.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
have an
right.
evaluation. And then
Okay.
all of that can be tallied too when you're
Yeah.
going to bat for additional classes.
Well, so far it seems like everybody's on board with it. So that's
That's
good.
great. Good job.
Well, wait a minute. Let me just ask,
Mhm.
now this revolving fund could be used for other things as well, correct? Let's
Technically,
just say
it
we got a grant, when we did get the grant and the money came in, a percentage of that money was supposed to come to the health department to be used for health related, it never did, it never was. For health related initiatives, so
right.
if we get lucky and we get a situation like that again, is this,
No, so my
Isolated
understanding
strictly
is
to serve, say?
it's limited at this point.
oh.
I'm taking what I can get you,
oh,
baby steps. So when I can show that I've done a good job with this, I add something else in, but instead of trying to go for this and get completely blown out of the water, if I go for this and get started and show that I can do this correctly and we're using it appropriately, I can then add things in.
You're just asking to be able to retain those funds from the Serve
Yes.
Safe program, and
Yes.
that's it.
That's it.
Oh, that's a no.
Yeah, but I needed
They've
to,
been stealing from us for years.
Okay. let's not
okay,
go there.
we're gonna just move right on. So did that one
Now,
and
what's
then.
this about unpaid tobacco?
So, we
violations?
sent out all the letters, and the only people that have paid their fines is Cumberland Farms. So, at this point, we have a list that could get sent out, to the court for hearings because they failed to pay. Lori dug it up from somewhere.
Andrea.
Andrea dug it up,
That
apparently.
to me that it's ready to go if we want to.
Yep, so I'll pass that around. Did Cumberland pay for both though? Because we have,
Yes.
so Cumberland's can come off Main
Yes.
Street and Pembroke. So these are the,
And none of the others wanted to pay.
nope, nobody's paid yet. And the letters been sent, they were sent certified, so we have receipts that they got them. So my next step is to take them to court and tell them I have to pay.
That'll teach us to be nice.
I was
Well,
just
the
gonna
other
ask you
thing-
what you thought.
So I wasn't finished though. The other issue that other towns are doing is anybody who sells alcohol, we are notifying the ABCD that they are not in compliance with the tobacco checks and that they have failed to pay their fines. ABC does not look favorably upon that. That may motivate people to do what they're supposed to do. So I'm just putting that out there. I have absolutely no qualms about it. I know that's what Duxbury does.
What?
What?
They
What do
let
you
the
mean, why?
ABC know.
Because you sell liquor, if you're selling to kids underage cigarettes, do you not think that they're not checking IDs for
Well, I
liquor?
don't know.
I know, but that's not on us. It's on the ABC then
What
to
does one
follow
got to
up,
do with the other?
because they go hand in hand.
Because you both have, you have something that
Both are
requires
required
identification.
age-restricted products.
And it's a good
What is the age
incentive.
for buying cigarettes?
18.
21.
Where-
Yeah, no,
which is-
20, no, it is 21. It's 21, not
used to
18.
be
It used to be 18. They changed it. It's 21. You can, so it's 21 for alcohol and 21 for cigarettes. So
So,
they're not checking in a package store for cigarettes. They're probably not checking for alcohol either.
yeah, but isn't
And that is a
kind of
public health
reach? I
issue.
mean, just because a kid goes in and he buys himself a pack of cigarettes, what's that got to do with the wines and the beers and the booze?
Because,
and
because it's, so if you
Yeah,
look.
close the whole place down?
No, we're
but
not
look at
closing it
this.
down.
We're just
Well,
trying to
what?
get them to pay their fines.
It's a motivator.
Because
They-
they then go in and do compliance checks to make sure they're not selling to
Because they're making
underage.
more money off of the alcohol than they are off of cigarettes, and it looks like because they don't pay their tobacco fine, they may lose their alcohol license, they're motivated to
Well,
pay.
then
That's a
I know.
motivator.
It's not that.
Protecting the residents in the town, and we're protecting the children, minors, from being sold alcohol, because if they're not carding for cigarettes that are 21 plus, the likelihood of these places not carding for alcohol, which is also 21 plus, is kind of on the high side.
In the ABC, when they are notified, will also do compliance checks of our own to see if they're selling to minors. So it's sort of like, hey, we caught them selling to minors for cigarettes, just letting you know. And then what ABC, we have no jurisdiction over that piece of it, but it's a way for them to get a second compliance check to make sure that they're doing that. I mean, that is a health
Well, in the
issue.
meantime, you're just trying to collect your fines that are. up
Yes,
there.
I just want to know if you want me to take them to court.
I
Yeah,
don't see you have any choice.
but I want to ask a question about this.
Go ahead.
Mhm.
Quick Mart,
Mhm.
isn't that the one we gave a break to?
Oh, yes.
2,000?
Yep, yep.
We let him pay one, and it's back on here, the same guy owns those. folks.
Yep, and he hasn't fixed, we've been back 3 times.
No slack.
And he hasn't complied
Can
with,
you pass it this way though, Bill, so the rest of us can look at it?
Well, there's nothing to look at.
but this is what prompted
Deadbeats are on there.
this is what prompted the re-inspection fee. We've been back 3 times now for, food inspection issues, and he's failed to fix any of them.
I remember that break we gave him too.
See, what
Yep,
I
shame
would
on
love
you
to have
guys.
done with this, which is tough love. I would love the PTO to get a copy of this.
But it's public record.
It is
Why
public
can't we
record.
publish that?
Well, I think they ought to get it, having had a son who was, went into some 7-Eleven, not here, in another state, and got alcohol and wouldn't tell me which one it was, and I was gonna go in and
Kill
raise
'em.
holy hell. I think the parents should know which places are, selling to underage students.
I know that it's not uncommon for health departments to post non-compliance
Okay,
reports
okay.
on their website.
Well, I would like to
Send
put
it
that
down,
up.
put
or
it in for a
something.
clerk's hearing. I guarantee you they'll pay you before the date comes. You'll get a date,
Yeah, I know.
They'll get
I'm
notified.
familiar with the court.
and before that date comes up, they will come in and pay.
Well, I would like to make a motion
Okay, what's your motion?
that this is publicized on our website, and it's also sent to the school, PTO at where at the school? The high school.
I would send it to the principal or to the superintendent.
Aggravates me about that $1,000 we gave them a break.
Well, whoever you think would be appropriate.
Dirty bums.
I don't know, would it go down through the superintendent, or should it just go directly to?
I would inquire to Carol Beck if they have a substance abuse counselor within the high school, which I imagine they do most.
But isn't
High
the point to
schools.
get the parents to
The
know?
point is to get the parents to know.
Because the parents are the ones that support these businesses.
Yeah.
Put it on
Well,
the
when you
website.
take liquor
You
store
are
to get
not
your bottle of
going to
wine,
Blah, blah.
you're gonna choose to go elsewhere.
Have K-Rec put it out.
Who?
Yeah, the
Kingston
recreation
Recreation
department.
Department.
Well, the other thing,
Go ahead, Tim.
I'm not talking.
the other thing is to, in terms of publicizing, when a place is found in violation, there should be some signage. On
You
the-
put 'em
Like
on
the
the-
Scarlet Letter.
No,
Like the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah, no, but I'm
He's so
serious, you know,
right.
and the-
She
Okay.
loves the sandwich board.
I do think it should be publicized. I do think that
Just puzzle ourselves.
parents should know about it.
So where do we want to put it though? Where do we want to post it?
What you could do is, we have a newspaper that gets mailed around to every household in the town of Kingston.
We
I
do.
believe it's called Kingston Living. I get it in the mail.
No, that's just
Oh,
a
that's-
magazine. It's privately done.
Yeah.
And you have to pay to get it.
You have to
You have to pay to get that. No, it's a good thought. It's just
You know,
gonna
they
cost
have,
us
they
money.
have to pick it up as
No,
someone
no,
independent.
no. They would publish something like.
We used to put letters in with the tax bills every year.
I'm saying the PTO, go
Bill.
to the people that need the information.
Thank
Power
you.
bank,
Joe
I sure
Walker.
would.
All right, so
So
maybe I can work on that with you, Heidi.
Are we doing a motion for?
Yeah, I'll call Carol, but talk to, that's another,
So yes, well, I don't think we don't have
I
to
don't
file a
think we have
motion
to
for the
make a
court,
motion.
right?
So before I ask for a motion to adjourn,
But
Hold on,
we're
we have a
asking if we
motion.
need to make a motion for
Joe,
the
we had a
court.
motion out there that Janet started.
yeah.
I thought we were done with that. We're gonna send it down to the court, and that's the end of it. Right?
Send it down to the court.
Okay, so this is a yes.
We're gonna have
The
the
fines.
clerk finish sending that
Yes.
to the courthouse.
That will be
Yeah.
initiated. Perfect.
And then we'll figure out who we want to notify within the
Yeah.
school.
So no motion.
What else
Yeah.
did you wanna
So I
do?
don't think we.
Follow up on that, all right.
I will, I'm on it.
What else did you wanna do with it?
All I have to say is, I want the information to get to the.
Okay.
Do we need to motion that to make a motion to post it or no? It's public
It's on the
record.
website,
Public record.
clerical, go right ahead and do it.
Okay, all right, so that's it.
You
So
should
go ahead,
announce it
Joe.
on public
All I was going to say was, before
Yeah.
I asked for a motion to adjourn, if we're done,
Yes.
We're
I've
not,
seen-
I've got a couple of things.
you're not letting me finish. I've seen one of our citizens
Hanging
walk
around
by
out
the
there.
door a couple of 3 times. I would ask if she has something that she'd like to talk to us about for a brief moment. And if the answer to that is yes, if not,
I'm gonna hold them down one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's-
Mine's up there.
she knows I'm saying her.
I
Everybody's
know,
seen
but
her.
we told,
No,
we
she's not
already
on the
emailed her
agenda.
and told her that
I
we would bring it
understand.
up.
But
it's-
if
And put it
people
on the
come to a meeting
agenda.
That I have, I always want to
Joe.
make sure they get it.
Yeah.
It's just
But we
me.
told her she
I've been
wasn't on the
doing it for
agenda.
20-some
That's the
odd
thing
years.
that pisses me off.
She knows when the agendas go off. No.
So you can make the motion to adjourn then.
Well,
I make motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second,
No, I'm not seconding that. It's just a couple of, it's just.
she's never short.
so are we adjourned and then shutting off?
No.
Or is it- Not adjourned.
Well, Dennis.
Fine,
seconded,
I'm
but-
getting a lot of trouble here now, so if you have something for us that's brief, I'm gonna.
I just sent you something. I just wanted to be here
Yes,
in
we
case you
did.
had a question. I know it was, I didn't give you any time to look at this stuff, but I wanted to say that if you have questions and you want additional information, let me know and I'll get it for you.
See that?
Thank you for the
So
email, fine.
I'm
That's,
gonna,
that's basically it. It's interesting though, and if you listen to Blake's talk, it's really interesting. And it's not about not doing anything about mosquitoes. It's about doing something different that doesn't kill off everything else we like. That's all.
One of my,
I'll have it on the agenda for our next meeting for take a vote for supporting.
It'd be great.
That's what
It'd be
we're gonna
great,
do.
but I'd love to get you whatever information you need, because
Thank
I
you.
know that it's like out of the blue.
I know my friend's daughter got bit already. 3 months out of school.
Yep.
So the mosquitoes are out there
I know, but
because of the rain.
the position we have is what we're doing is not effective. There is an effective way and it wouldn't damage everyone else.
Thank you.
That's basically it.
Good night, Tom.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm fine.
Well, see, that was painless.
Well, hopefully this will be painless. What's
What?
going on with the public health nurse?
Nothing. We have had nothing. We have had no
Not
applicants.
one human.
It's out there. We've reduced
You
it
look for
to
a
be a bachelor's and we have had no bites, nothing. Tina's boosted it. I believe it's on Indeed. We've got it on MHOA.
It's just not an appealing job
It's
to
not.
a lot of people.
That's the problem. I mean,
Well, and
Is
you know,
it
there's,
15
the
hours?
last time I was here, it was,
I was.
there was discussion about increasing the hourly rate and
Well,
We did that.
I can't, it's already at 35.25. I can't go any higher. It's like, I already went in front of FinCon to get the last nurse the highest step. So when we hire somebody else, it's gonna be the same exact thing. I'm gonna have to go back in front of FinCon to explain why I'm asking for the highest step. So we cannot, my understanding is it has to go in front, it has to be on an article to go in front of the town meeting. But that deadline had already passed when we started talking about it, so it can't be on this spring agenda. If we have a town meeting in the fall, we can put it on for that, but that's it. That's what I was told.
Okay.
I have no recourse.
okay. I know you've addressed some of this stuff and I'm just wondering. Well, not there's no public health nurse. In the future, offering COVID flu or shingles vaccine, are you just gonna continue to work through?
Yeah, at this
Pharmacies
point,
are advertising.
yeah, I mean, that's the big why. I have to say, it was great. We set it up. They came,
Did it?
they did everything. You know, we took down the appointment times. We were the face with the community. But they came, they set everything up. They gave all the shots. We didn't have to worry about anything. So that was nice because at least we can still offer that.
Yeah, it's great that we're still able to offer the.
Yeah, I
vaccines
just
to
want to
the-
make sure,
great.
like, I'd like to keep it going and, the fellow Glenn,
Glenn, yeah. He's lovely.
was more than willing to entertain it. So all I gotta do is, come August, I'll start setting things up for maybe do one in September, one in October, and even if we think we
November.
need another one in November, we can get another one in November, but I'd like to get them set up
Right.
sooner rather than later so we can really promote it.
That would be great.
That would be
He
great.
did 90
You
in
could
my
have
wanna
place.
Glenn
come
on
here.
Healthy
He
Kingston.
did 90 in my place.
Yeah,
You could have Glenn in,
so, but that wouldn't be till the fall.
yeah, but we could pre-record it now
Uh-huh.
and do the importance of vaccines and how he works with the town of Kingston. To get them,
Especially because I'm guessing now would be a slower time of year for him.
The
I haven't seen him in
pharmacists,
work in
yeah.
about
Oh,
2 or 3
okay.
weeks. 2 weeks at least.
He was there the last time I went.
Okay.
Was he?
And just one other thing I wanted to mention, just these things come to mind, you probably know it already. The signage, taking advantage of signage in the town. If there's anything you want to promote, you can do it at the library on their sign. You can
Yep.
also do it,
Rec department, I'm in constant contact with
okay.
Donald
The
and,
field, baseball field.
Susan. I was like,
Woodland.
I was like blanking on the name.
Yeah.
In fact, Sue and I have been discussing some things that maybe the Board of Health can, the health department can get in conjunction with her around healthy eating and cooking and recipes and gardening and stuff like that, like how we might fit into that for summer
How we can
stuff.
work in collaboration with
Yeah.
them.
So I'm like, I'm in. I'm more than happy to work with somebody else in the town.
And the garden club might be interested in sponsoring some of that stuff too. Also, the American Red Cross used to offer this class, babysitting. Particularly with
The
I think
rec
that's
department
cool.
already offers it.
Yeah.
they already offer it?
Yep,
Okay, great.
yep. That's it. And they're
She's
doing
got-
a boater safe course is back on for this summer.
Okay.
For the young
yes,
boaters,
try to
to
Oh,
have-
that's
take a boater
awesome.
safety course.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that's ages 12 and up.
I'll get in
That
touch
you can
with
get
Sue.
your like junior operator's license. You have to be with a licensed
Yeah.
adult, but it's a great way for kids to learn the rules of the waters. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Or even for adults who are new to boating.
I did
Yeah.
power
It's a-
squadrons a long time ago, but
Yeah.
it was totally worth it.
Mhm.
It's a great way to learn about marine life.
Charting and all that fun stuff.
So
All right.
we will revive, I hope, our motion to adjourn.
Second,
It was already there. We did not, all we had to do is call the vote. It was moved and seconded.
oh, I can't second my own.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.